I remember I was in Colorado with my family and I was watching one of like the Under Armour All American games with my mom. We were just at like some like random place and it was on. And like, I was telling my mom, I was like, I want to do that. And she was just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, no way. And I was just like, no, like I'm going to do it. Like, I promise. I remember watching that. I was like, like, how do you have to be that good to be like in that game? Like, what do you have to do? Like, what are the stepping stones you have to do to like be in that game? And I haven't even played summer ball yet. So I was like begging my dad. I was like, Dad, like I need to play summer ball. Literally the next year I was in like the Under Armour All American game. And like, she always brings it up. But like my dad pushed baseball so hard on my brother. So it kind of like made my brother like hate baseball. So he was afraid he was going to do that with me, but ultimately, like he decided to put me on like a small summer ball team, like just guys from Houston and San Antonio. We ended up being pretty good, but yeah, that was kind of like the beginnings of like serious baseball. And I remember the first summer ball game I ever played. There was like a bunch of scouts there for like college scouts, and I threw a no-hitter, like my first ever summer ball game. I was riding back with my dad like from the game and I was just like, his phone was getting blown up, my phone was getting blown up. Like I was getting like offers over the phone and I was just like, I had no idea like what it even meant. I was just like, Dad, like I don't know what's going on right now. This is crazy.
2019 Arizona Fall League East Division champion, Saul.
And then the next like big stepping stone to that was I went to like an area code tryout and I didn't make the team, but I pitched pretty well in like the game. Like the simulation game that we played, and like the same thing, but it was like Major League Scouts saying like, you know, you got a real shot here in the draft in 2016, and I was like, well, now that's even crazier because like I hadn't even committed to college yet. Like it just all happened in like 2 months. Like I didn't even know like I was gonna go play college baseball, and then like 2 months later, MLB scouts are telling me like I got a shot in the draft. So I was like, well, this is freaking crazy. I was lifting the morning before our first scrimmage in high school, and there was apparently supposed to be like 70 scouts coming. It was something like ridiculous. And I was doing a box jump, and the first thing I did, I jump up and I break my left thumb. So like I was put on the shelf for 7 weeks, most of that being preseason, and then 3 weeks into the regular season. And then when I got back into throwing, pitched really well the high school season, had really good stuff.
Strike 2 out. Strike 3.
And then got the chance to pitch for Team USA, and I met like a bunch of lifelong buddies throughout that time. So that was super fun. After Team USA, I weighed like 265 pounds. I was so fat. All the Major League draft guys were like, you know, he's really good. He can spin it, he throws hard, but he's just a little bit overweight. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna solve that. For like 3 or 4 months, just like worked out twice a day, ate really clean, and I ended up losing 70 pounds in 4 months. I didn't like really understand like what it meant to be like a good baseball player. I just kind of like, I worked hard. I tried to do like everything I could to like become the best athlete I could. All of it just kind of happened real fast.
Yeah, I got recruited out of high school to play shortstop at Pierce Community College. They did end up giving me a little bit of a scholarship, but it was the only college I talked to coming out of high school. When I got there, I mean, it was just behind. I was like the 30th guy on the depth chart if there was 30 guys total on the team. Our ace like on the team was a submarine pitcher, and I remember one day I was just playing catch with him and I was like messing around, throwing sidearm to him. And then that same day we had an inter squad. And so like even being a redshirt, I was still involved in the inter squads, you know, so I was on deck getting ready to hit. He like stood up off the bucket and he's like, listen, like, can anybody on this team throw strikes? I'm like sick of watching this. And I was like doing my batting gloves sitting there and I was like, yeah, I can throw strikes and, you know, I can do it sidearm. And he like looks at me, he's like, all right, go get warmed up. And I just kind of like laugh and just like keep doing my batting gloves, like whatever. And he's like, no, Cole, like you're in next inning. After that practice, they came to me, they're like, listen, we'll still honor your red shirt, but we really think you could like help the team. They're like, you know, if you burn your red shirt right now, I mean, you'll get innings like now and in the playoffs. And you know, for me, it wasn't even really much of a decision. Like, I was just like, wanted to play, didn't really think, didn't call my dad, didn't call anybody. I was just like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how I got my first opportunity pitching. When I first became a pitcher, I remember like one of the first days, so the hitters and the position players, they like warmed up on the left field line, and then the pitchers were on the right field line. I remember jogging down there, and the head coach like calls me over. He said, listen, you know, if you're gonna be in the bullpen, you need to start acting like a bullpen guy. He's like, we're wolves out here, we're not sheep. And so that was just like something that the whole team embraced. And like, I remember even I wrote it in my hat, like I'm a wolf or something. I think there was actually a cuss word in between that statement. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, can I cuss and stuff? Yeah, I wrote, I'm a fucking wolf in my hat. I had nothing to lose with any of that. I mean, I still feel like even to this day, I have nothing to lose with baseball. I mean, I always kind of had a chip on my shoulder, and you know, still do, about, you know, the recruiting process, and like specifically kind of towards the local schools, University of Washington, Wazoo, and Gonzaga. I kind of like shoving it up their ass throughout my career, just because, I mean, they took a lot of guys over me, and I know there's way more like logistics to it, but I always kind of felt like, you know, they didn't really give me much of a look, and that was kind of on them.
7 innings, scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. Cole, tell us how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I just, Coach Scott called a great game. Joey Roach caught a great game.
Georgia State, like, it was everything I wanted. I mean, they made me feel wanted, extremely wanted. They reflected that in the scholarship offer. They gave me every opportunity when I got there. They worked with me. It was a great fit.
Today.
Well, I told them before we started that we beat ourselves.
I had a phenomenal pitching coach in Adam Scott, who I still talk to this day. You know, I learned more about pitching rather than just like throwing. I think the biggest thing I learned was just like a lot of mental toughness sort of things, like kind of had to grow up. I got a pretty harsh taste of Division I baseball, but it ended up being, you know, one of the best things for me.
When you're facing all the guys I've been facing, it's like you really feel like you got to be like extra on top of it. But it's been good so far. I've been throwing a ton of changeups because I know all these hitters are just hunting fastballs. It's kind of like what I talked about in our initial interview, just like kind of seeing, you know, if I belong, if I can hang, and if not, like, you know, just learn from it. Like, you know, like every guy that steps in is kind of a dude, so you're kind of just like on your toes. Like, it's like easier to focus in a way because you know you have to. And it's cool because like everything that I learned in the regular season, you know, about myself and about pitching, and like grew that way, has just like, that's gotten me to this point, has, you know, helped here.
When he was at Pierce, I went to a different, oh my gosh. I hope you can hear that. I went to a different community college, and so I played softball. So we practiced out of the same indoor facility, and like our friends were friends, but we never really hung out. And then 2015, I was going to school in Tacoma, and he was there for the summer, and then that's when we like first hung out, and then that's when we started dating. It just felt so natural, like nothing felt ever forced or weird, so that was like the best feeling ever, just being comfortable like from day one.
Oh my God. Pull him off to the side. Like when I first like actually got to be around her, I mean, it was just like pretty obvious from the minute we met just how like caring and like compassionate she was. I've never felt like so loved by somebody other than like outside of like my parents. I mean, she's always supported me, and it was like initial from day one. She's like genuinely interested, I guess would probably be the first thing. She like really, you know, gave a shit about me, and like that just like starts creating like trust, and then you start to open up and like really get to know a person. So I mean, I just always felt like she really cared about me, you know, which is, you know, all I've really ever wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, like off the field, I'm pretty like, I don't know how I'm talking right now is pretty much like how I am in person, like outside of baseball. But like on the mound, I feel like a complete psychopath. Like I feel like I'm like fidgeting, like I'm like twisting the ball in my hand constantly. Like I'm like removing calluses from my hand when I like need them to pitch. But like I like go back and watch videos and I look just completely calm. But like when I'm out there, like I feel so isolated out there, and it's like really nice because I do like the solitude. But yeah, like on the mound, it's just, you know, when things are going well, like it's just really easy to lock in. But, you know, when things, you know, aren't going super well, I tend to just kind of like box myself up and just try to work as fast as I can to get out of an inning. At the start of every game, like when I'm like toeing the rubber and I come set, I work from the stretch exclusively. Like I come set and like I'm looking at the first sign, like it just doesn't feel like a baseball game to me. Like when I'm watching the actual game compared to like when I'm actually out there, it's like two completely different worlds. Like I'm just like so focused on getting like 3 outs, preferably via strikeout, that like I'm just like so locked in the moment.